I also want to give a big thank you to our partners on tonight's event, He, who came on board to help support, and they're going to have a little wine reception, very small, upstairs in the lobby right after the Q&A.
We all need wine after this.
Yes, indeed. So let me start. I want to start with, let's talk a little bit about the production side. I want to talk about the casting. Two sides of it. First of all, you have one of Israel's legendary stars in this, Moshe Ivgi, alongside what I can tell are two newcomers. Tell me a little bit about those.
So Moshe Ivgi is a very well-known actor in Israel, probably the biggest one. So it was kind of an interesting combination because the twins and the twins that played the brothers in the movie, they really have no experience. So the whole casting process took a really long time. Tom, the director, had this vision in his mind that kind of to find two brothers that had like this really special connection between them, similar to what he has with his younger brother. And basically we started to look together, two like identical twins all over Israel. So we had an amazing casting assistant that did like great research, and they saw all kind of, they saw Tom and Oli, the casting director, they saw a lot of really hundreds of nominees probably, candidates. And they started first with actors, like let's try to like pair actors that are not brothers together, and let's see if we can get anything. And actually the results were quite good, because at first Tom thought it wouldn't work, but even actors that are not family, you can kind of match them up with that. But then he decided he wants to find brothers. So then the real process began, and he saw a lot of identical twins, and eventually he found those two brothers that had no previous experience, and they're kind of unique. They were soldiers themselves at the time, so they took a vacation from the army, like a week. And
only the Israeli army took a vacation.
Yeah, no, it was only the Israeli army. They were probably off for a few months, and they returned those few months and the end of their service. They did not miss one day in the army. So we rented an apartment for them in Tel Aviv, and they just started to. They had this like really intense course of a few months of becoming actors.
And have they acted since then? Since this role, have they done anything else? Do they act separately or only together?
They had these big dreams after the movie. It was quite. A lot of these young people in this age are not actors yet, but they really came with like no experience. They had no knowledge in cinema, and it was pretty amazing because slowly they really developed, and they went with us to Berlin Film Festival, and everything for them was like new and amazing, and they kind of said at first that yeah, we want to do more acting, but after they left the army and everything, they kind of got into the route of like working. They're out of working, and they haven't done anything like significant since then. I'm not sure. I think maybe this was their project, and maybe that's it. Maybe yeah. But maybe who knows? I'm not. Yeah.
I don't know if it helps them in their social life as far as dating and stuff like that.
Yeah, it does. I mean, they have a lot of friends. They're from a kibbutz. They're two kibbutznikim, and when we screened the in Festival Darom, which is a festival in the south of Israel, or the area of the kibbutz, they brought like buses of people. It was amazing.
So let me take it into a more serious side before we open it up to questions from the audience. The inspiration for this film, where did it come from? How does it reflect within Israeli reality today? Is this a realistic film at all? Is this something that's completely distant from reality? Is this a Tarantino piece that has nothing to do with reality?
I think, it's a combination. Of course, generally, most of the movies, even if they're not realistic, even if they're realistic, they're not, totally, if you do a realistic movie, totally, usually it can be quite boring, so. But yeah, I think for me it's a pretty realistic film, like I can see just such a scenario. And the inspiration for the film was, again, as I said, Tom has a brother, the writer-director of the film, that they're very much alike. He's 2 years younger than him, and they look very much alike, and they have like this really special bond. he was also very much involved in the making of this film. And Tom's father, at some point, a few years before the making of this film, when he was a student in the Sam Spiegel film school, Tom's father lost his job. So that's kind of like how this idea started, kind of like what if, and in more general way to speak, I would say that like this whole social issues is something that became more and more relevant in Israel today. So it came together with the film, I guess, like the whole social protests and things that kind of became more relevant in Israeli reality, and so as in cinema.
There has been, I think, now I could think of off the top of my head, 3 major feature films on the topic of lost youth in Israel that are very universal that have had extremely great success in the last just 2 years. After Hanar, there was 6 times, 6 acts, which is just I translated correctly. And then this year I saw Ha'emek, The Valley, which is also in a similar vein, clearly is looking into what's going on with Israel's youth and how MTV has made them like everyone else.
Yeah, so I guess this is part of it, part of the wave.
I'm going to take some questions. I saw a hand up. Sorry, over here.
You know, when we were like sort of prepped for the movie about how dissolute the Israeli youth have become, and you know, we're to expect that they're just like every other European youth looking their way. I have to say that I was expecting them to be horrific, absolutely horrific. And I have to say that while they certainly were not your poster children for great children, it was very clear that these boys really had such an innate humanity. And they weren't simply, you know, brutalizing people because of...
No. I mean, it's fine. You could agree or disagree. I think it definitely does not depict a positive picture of you.
I know. I actually agree with you. I mean, I think this is a complex. How do you say it? Complexity, whatever, of the film. complexity of the film. That they're not doing their actions. I mean, you're totally right. I totally agree with you. They're not doing their actions just because they want to kidnap a girl. Of course, they're being influenced by movies and everything, but their main cause is to save their families.
Not to mention that they were failing your name.
Yep.
Let me take a comment over here.
I'm just curious as to where this film takes place in Israel. Yes, sir.
So most of it was shot in Ramat Gan, which is a small town close to Tel Aviv, and but I would say that the general place of the film, like where Tom actually wanted to make it, and it's Petach Tikva, where he was. Some of it was there too, where he was born and raised. Which Petach Tikva is kind of like, you know, an all-class city where it kind of. Has all kinds of, it's very average Israeli city, so that's kind of, yeah.
I hate to cut this short because there's a lot to discuss here, but there's also about 150 people also waiting outside for the next film. Please continue this conversation with Noah up in the gallery. I recommend not exiting through here because you'll hit a big traffic of people. Go up to the top, make a left, and take you straight to the gallery for some wine. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining. We're look forward to seeing you at other upcoming screenings here. And if you're coming for the kindergarten teacher, grab your tickets and re-enter.